At Lucintel, we have done significant research into the impact of COVID-19 on the composites industry. Today I will share with you how we characterize the market, including where we see opportunities and the dynamics at work. This analysis is based on Lucintel's market research report on the impact of COVID-19 on the composites industry. Before I discuss the details of our analysis, let me briefly introduce myself and Lucintel. My name is Brandon Fitzgerald. I'm a director at Lucintel. I've worked with over 100 companies in the areas of growth strategy and mergers and acquisitions. Lucintel is a market research and management consulting firm headquartered in Dallas, Texas. We have over 1,000 clients, and we provide services in the areas of market entry strategy, opportunity screening, due diligence, value chain analysis, or M&A for companies around the world. Let me talk to you about how various dynamics and opportunities are in play in the composites market as a result of the impact of COVID-19. To summarize, the global economy has been significantly impacted by COVID-19. For example, we estimate more than 2.5 trillion in global economic loss and over 300 million jobs lost globally. The US GDP is expected to decline by 6% in 2020. To contrast, that decline around the world, the global GDP, is only expected to be 4 to 6%, slightly lower. Now let's discuss the impact to specific end-use industries. All major end-use industries have been severely impacted in 2020. Interesting to note is that the impact to the wind energy industry, while significant and while the growth is declining, will not result in negative growth for wind energy. And that will be the only major end-use industry that will have positive growth in 2020 despite COVID-19. To contrast, the automotive sector is expected to recover more quickly than wind energy in 2021 and beyond. When we look into the automotive sector, we see that the impact will be different across various regions, with North America and the European Union taking the biggest hit. When we look into the aerospace industry, we see that major OEMs have been implementing temporary shutdowns and revising midterm projections on new aircraft platform deliveries. Now this means that we are expecting to see a longer recovery timeline in the aerospace industry. When we look into the wind energy industry, we can see that there has been a significant impact in terms of reducing growth projections. However, the impact to wind energy can be viewed as more moderate when compared to other end-use industries. When we look into the construction industry, we see that major infrastructure projects have been placed on hold. The impact to construction is likely to become more apparent as ongoing projects are completed throughout the year and the backlog of new projects gets much smaller. When we look at the electronics and electrical industry, we see how the consolidation of electronics manufacturers near the epicenter of the pandemic in the Asia-Pacific region has negatively impacted the whole supply chain for the industry. Now that we've looked into the impact of various end-use industries, we'll share our perspective on the overall composites market. As you can see, the North American composites industry had been performing quite well. The trend was at or above year-over-year performance in 2020 through the third week of March, when factories started shutting down en masse. Despite the impact to short-term growth, composites has significant room for greater penetration within these end-use industries. And as companies revise and assess their post-COVID strategies, there's an opportunity for greater adoption of composites technologies. Next, I'd like to share with you Lucintel's perspective on how companies are responding to the crisis. While every company and every industry is different, the 4 top issues that Lucintel heard while conducting our primary interviews throughout the value chain in the composites industry were the following. First, cash and liquidity. How do we maintain short-term liquidity? Second, the uncertainty of future demand. Third, how do we protect worker safety? And fourth, how do we address challenges within the supply chain due to disruptions? The contrast between these industries can be seen in each industry's cash burn rate, which differs across end-use industries, from a low of around 100 million to a high of about 3.3 billion per month. Maintaining cash and liquidity is going to be a more challenging and critical barrier for the automotive industry and the aerospace industry due to their high cash burn rate. Construction and wind energy have a much lower cash burn rate. Now, the electronics and electrical industry has a rather high cash burn rate, but the major OEMs also have particularly high cash reserves like Apple and Samsung. In order to survive, companies will need to restart their operations. However, some industries are better positioned to reopen than others. We expect the recovery in the aerospace to be comparatively slow. To contrast, we expect electric and electronics and electrical and the construction industries to be able to restart more quickly. In order to reopen safely, however, companies are implementing different and stringent safety requirements to protect their workers. In terms of supply chain disruptions, we're seeing more significant challenges in automotive due to the high rate of import and exports globally in that particular industry. By contrast, the aerospace industry supply chain is more regional in nature. The supply chain impact will be more moderate in wind and construction, but it will be higher in electronics and electrical based on the consolidation near the epicenter of the pandemic. Now that we've shared some of our perspective, let me tell you how Lucintel is working with companies to navigate through this crisis. Since the crisis, we've been working with companies to assess their strength in terms of their product portfolios across different segments. We've been working to identify potential acquisition targets and opportunities to divest. We've also been working with companies to help address future risks related to disruption in the supply chain. Right now, having reliable, real-time data is critical for decision-making. That's why Lucintel offers a subscription service through our Lucintel 360 online platform, which includes real-time data monitoring of various industries, companies, and raw material prices. When you buy from Lucintel, you can trust that the information you're receiving is based on primary research with experts in the industry value chain, conducted by subject matter experts at Lucintel. If you'd like to know more about the impact of COVID-19 or how the impact in the composites industry is felt throughout the end-use industries, please contact Lucintel, and thank you very much for listening to our video today.